Hi, I'm Ed, and so I've done a couple videos showing us camping trips and reviews of our Mallard M185, and I've had a couple requests on how we set up our trailer hitch for how we actually tow this behind our 4Runner. So I was going to go ahead and put that together, but I'm also going to cover a couple other things in regards to how we do our setup and our launch as well. You may have also noticed that we actually have this actually up on our driveway, actually mounted in the reverse direction, so we didn't actually back it in, we actually put it in the other direction. So I'm going to go ahead and actually show you how we actually did that. So a couple different ways, but it's a very interesting little technique we use. Okay, so the way that we actually move the trailer is actually kind of interesting. So this is actually a product called a trailer valet. So this is a neat little wheel contraption system. So what this does is there's actually a neat little hook that actually goes onto the actual trailer, the actual front system for the actual hitch, and then this actually goes straight onto there. I'll go ahead and show you how this mounts. But what happens here is there's this little wheel mechanism here, and it has this little chain drive, and then what happens is one wheel locks, the other one doesn't, but it actually is allowed to spin part way, so that way it allows the actual vehicle to actually turn, so you can kind of pivot. So this little chain drive, and there's two pieces on here, so that way there's actually a gear mechanism on here, and then this little guy right here is there's actually a braking mechanism built into this. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this up and actually show you how this is in operation. It allows me to actually move the trailer up and down the driveway. Okay, so before I can actually hook this up, I'm going to have to actually jack this system up before I can actually hook this actually in, because it's actually sitting too low, because of the way the angle of the driveway, I actually lowered it down on this side in order to keep the thing nice and level, because I wanted to make sure if I turned the flame on for the refrigerators and everything was going to stay level and everything. So the first thing I did, because I'm getting ready to go on a trip, is so I have these neat little Camco adapters that goes onto a drill, so I keep this ready to go for the trailer. So first thing I did was I came over here and I just raised all the jacks up on this, so it makes this really stupid easy. That one I don't have to use the hand jack, the hand crank, okay? Because I'm going to have to raise this up. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm probably going to get an electric version of this, because do this a number of times, it's a bit hard. But I'm going to raise this up, that way I can go ahead and hook this guy up. Like I said, I have to take undo the scissor jacks first, because I'm changing the pitch and angle of the trailer. I don't want to snap off the scissor lifts first. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and slide this over into the port right here. And I have this pin with a cotter pin. So I'm going to drop this down into place. Slide the safety pin in. So now I have this guy ready to go. I have this amount of range of motion, right? And then this is I pull this up, and basically it releases it, so that I can go ahead and start actually making the motions. And then there's this is actually how I start actually making the motions, right? How I actually start actually moving the trailer. And then I actually have a elevation adjustment if I need to. So what's really cool about this is because I have adjustment where I can actually move the trailer and do an elevation adjustment, I can actually bring this down into the actual street, and I can actually pilot and move this actually onto the actual tow vehicle. Makes it really, really handy, so I don't have to play the whole guessing game of, okay, 3 inches that way, 3 inches to the right, 2 inches back, no, try again, realign. I don't have to do that. I can basically just put the tow vehicle right where I want it, and then just bring the trailer to the tow vehicle, and then set it down onto the hitch. Makes it really easy. So now I'm going to go ahead and lower this. So one of the things I also want to point out while I'm lowering this is a neat little product I got from Amazon. So this is designed to keep the chains and everything else kind of out of the way. So that way the chains aren't really sitting on the ground. It also kind of protects the plugs and everything like that. So that way it kind of keeps everything else from kind of getting all damaged and kind of chewed up. Kind of helps organize everything. So you can see now I have the weight actually sitting on the actual trailer valet now. So always make sure you put your put these away. It's also a good idea to make sure I'll go ahead and put all the links for all the products I'm talking about down in the description below. But make sure you have a spare one of these little adapters, because sometimes your little drill bit, your little drill might actually you might actually drop this. You might lose it. I've already lost one already. But make sure you always stow this, and also keep a spare charger, because if you're on a trip, what you don't want to have is you don't want to end up, especially at nighttime, with a dead battery and you're cranking it by yourself. It sucks. So make sure you keep that. That's by the way, here's the actual product for the Camco scissor jack adapter.
Go.
And then locks, security wise, a simple lock like this keeps honest people honest, because even though it's sitting up here in a weird spot, it's, again, keeps honest people honest. Okay, so because I'm sitting on a driveway, I have the weight of the trailer actually sitting on the chocks. The first thing I have to do is I have to actually creep the trailer slightly forwards in order to take the weight off the chocks before I can actually move the trailer. So I have my handle sitting on the top one, because this is actually the low drive gear. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually pull it all the way up, because that actually unlocks the brake. And then I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly start turning this. This is how I move the trailer. Move it up just a wee little bit, and then I let it go like this. Now it's actually sitting on the brake mechanism of this. So the whole thing is actually sitting right here. So now I can go ahead and start taking the chocks off the trailer. So one of the interesting challenges of a driveway like this is because I have a neighbor that has their truck right here. So what I have to do is plus the bottom of the driveway. So what I have to do is I have to basically creep the trailer up as far as I can, and then basically kind of angle it downwards. So it's not without its challenges. The peak of the summertime, it's a bit more difficult when it's hot, but it doesn't make it impossible. So still a process, you know. Obviously got to make sure you have a decent spotter, and sometimes you got to pause and check, make sure you're not going to nudge anything, but making sure the driveway doesn't have any like rocks and stuff that you're going down. This obviously wouldn't work if it's dirt on a hill, but on standard concrete, this works out perfectly. Now, just for point of comparison, by the way, my 55-gallon water tank is full, which means this trailer weighs probably about 4,200 pounds right now. So, and this little trailer Valet does a pretty good job. Another thing, these tires do not require inflation. These tires are solid. So that's one of the reasons why they work out so well doing this particular type of operation. So,
Straight now.
A little bit, and boom. Make sure we're good there.
You're good on the truck.
So once I'm on level ground, what I can do is I can switch over to the high speed. And I can go like this. I can move the trailer at a faster pace. So, as you can see, I can move it at kind of a slow walk, but the point is, I can move the trailer. Okay, so the next part of this is obviously getting the hitch ready to go. So all I'll do is I'll go ahead and slide this in our hitch receiver here. Get that lined up. And of course, get a pin in here, and I have a lock in here. Again, keeping honest people honest, because this thing's a little expensive anyways. So this is a EAZ lift I picked up at Camco. Yeah, Camping World, actually, sorry. So this is one that they recommended to make sure it has the whole sway control and everything. So then I'll go ahead and show the rest of this particular setup. This also has an adjustable elevation here as well. I did make a minor adjustment, and I'll actually show the reason why on this. We actually had it down sitting low based on the adjustments that the Camping World guys actually set up for us. But after doing some traveling with this, we actually made an adjustment. We actually raised this up, and I'll actually explain why we did that. I'll get this ready to go here. All right, got some grease on here, so that way it doesn't get all chewed up, and make sure it stays nice and greased. And got this little boot as well. This is another Amazon. That way we will get our hands all greased up, and we're all ready to go. Go ahead and ready to move the trailer.
Stop.
Okay, so even though I have the trailer valet and I have the ability to pinpoint move the trailer directly onto the vehicle, I don't use it to actually bring the trailer over onto this. The reason why is because I don't like to have that amount of weight on the trailer valet raised up really high to bring it over here, because I'm also not sure how high up the trailer valet can go in order to bring, if I can actually get up to this elevation. So I still bring it up here, and I also bring it back because I also have a rear view camera onto the actual tow vehicle, so I can actually bring it over here and get it pretty much on the dot on the first try anyways. So it's not like I really struggle with this. I've only been doing this for a couple months, and I've gotten pretty good at it. So I just put these blocks underneath here, go up all the way, and I can pretty much put it underneath here directly, and then just precision it. I just need to have my spotter tell me the front and back, and I can pretty much bullseye the left and the right. So what I do from here is I just go ahead and get it just barely on here, and then I go ahead and start getting the weight distribution bars. I don't put the weight all the way onto the vehicle just yet. Okay? Okay, so the way that the weight distribution system is actually set up, it's designed to take the weight that's actually towards the front of the actual tongue of the actual trailer, and it actually takes some of that weight and actually brings it back onto the actual trailer system instead of pushing that weight further onto the tow vehicle. And it makes it to where the tow vehicle doesn't actually sit back and bring the front wheels up off the ground, and basically makes it to where the tow vehicle stays more stable. Part of this is also to help kind of keep everything leveled out, which is also important because if this is not set correctly on the elevation, then it's also going to make it to where it's that sag mentality as well. So it's important to kind of make sure everything stays kind of balanced. So when the Camping World guy set it all up for us, he had it down lower, and there was,
we're blocking the driveway,
and it did create a bit of a problem for us. So we'll go ahead and bring this guy down so we can go ahead and get this set. First part of this is go ahead and take the weight distribution bar and slide it up into there. Do it at an angle and it pops in, and then bring it backwards. I'm going to take the 1, 2, 3, I use number 4 onto here. Bring it in here like this. Now it makes it really easy because I haven't put the actual weight down onto the tow vehicle yet. Otherwise, I would have to use the cheater bar here, which is designed to go right here. Then I can actually click it on here. Again, the weight's not all the way on here, which means I can actually kind of do it by hand. Okay? And then I slide the pin in. Alright, so go ahead and slide this. I already took the pin out. Go ahead and take this out. Just go ahead and get it out of the way. Go ahead and set this down. I'll go ahead and stow it in here once I'm all done with this. And get the other distribution bar popped in place. Make sure the pin is popped in all the way. So when you want to remove this, you basically take the bar all the way out and see how it pushes the pin out. And that's how you basically drop the bar down, right? Wiggle this, and how it drops the pin back in, right? Pin, slide that pin out. 2, 3, 4. I got the dick monster over here. Alright, so this guy's a little bit harder to do right now, just because I'm actually sitting on the street level, so because it got a slight little curve on the actual street, so I actually have to use the cheater bar. So got this on here, there's a small little divot, and then there we go. That's why we have the cheater bar. Slide the pin in, and then there we're good. Stash the cheater bar. Now the sway control, here's the another one of these little pins. Slide this guy in. Here like this.
Watch your knuckles.
Yep. You gotta be careful with this because, just like my wife was saying, if you're not careful with this, you will bust your knuckles. This one is the one you bust your knuckles on, though, so if you're not careful. It would suck if I show blood on a YouTube channel, but all right. So this is how this is all set up here. So now the way that this is set up is this is basically a little tension, little braking mechanism. So the way this is set up is basically I just take my finger, single finger, and I basically do is I just kind of twist this like here until I start feeling a noticeable pushback, real noticeable pushback, where it's a lot harder to really do this. Okay, so then this is basically right where I want it, right here, because there's a noticeable pushback on my finger. Okay, so this is where I want for my normal in the city travel. Right before I get ready to go on the actual freeway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from right here, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then this is enough tension on this bar to basically do enough for sway control for freeway high-speed driving. For when the wind starts pushing up against the trailer, it'll help kind of resist some of that sway on that. But because this is city driving, what I'm going to be doing right now, 1, 2, 3. This is where I want it.
And then every time you get out of the car to do a sharp turn, you want to get out.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're on city mode before you do any sharp turns. So it's a bit of a pain sometimes because whenever you get on or off the freeway, we stop off the exit, whatever, and then we go ahead and make this setting change. If you don't make that setting change, then what will happen is it'll put too much tension on this, and you can actually break. It'll actually bend and break and snap this. If you have it tensioned down and you actually make a turn, it can actually snap this if you don't make that adjustment. So now that we have this all set up, I can go ahead and drop this down. You'll start noticing the weight sag down onto the actual tow vehicle. But because I made this adjustment up here, it's not as noticeable. So what's interesting about this is the trailer is, for the most part, level while it's being towed. So some of the other trailers we've noticed on the road are not necessarily level. Now, one of the problems we've noticed is when they first set this up, we were actually set down lower on this, so the hitch was actually a little, like, say 2 inches lower, and there was a particular problem that it actually caused for us, and I'll show you why. This is our brake controller that we use inside the tow vehicle. Okay, so I installed this here underneath the dash, and the way that this actually works, it uses the gyro mechanism system that's very similar to the microchips that are actually found inside your mobile smartphones currently. So what it does is it actually measures the actual tilting of your tow vehicle, and it kind of gauges that and kind of figures out how much braking power it needs to apply. Okay, so it doesn't actually measure the braking that you're applying at the brake pedal. It measures the inertia of the actual tow vehicle. Here's the problem: if your trailer is not level and it's pitched down like this, what happens to your tow vehicle? It pitches forwards like this. Okay, pitches up, and it screws with the ability of your brake controller to do the math and figure out, well, how much braking power do I apply? So if you're pitched like this and you start slowing down, what happens is it basically levels out your tow vehicle and doesn't apply enough brakes. So you compensate by changing the math on this, and then what happens is you end up in a slight incline or a slight hill, either up or down, and all of a sudden your math even gets screwed up even more, where you're applying too much or not enough. So sometimes your brakes will actually lock up and you'll drag the trailer, or it just screws with it completely. So as soon as I basically adjusted the hitch and raised it up and actually leveled the trailer, it took away all those problems. So now every time I tap the brake, it's actually correct even if I'm on a hill. So because everything is actually correct and level across the whole thing. So it's also a lot more stable. So now when I'm driving, it's not necessarily, besides the power difference because I'm towing, I don't necessarily feel that the trailer's back there, which I believe is the intent with actually towing everything. See, we also have to hook up everything. So go ahead and hook up our chains. The chains usually go in a crisscross pattern. So in case it gets dropped, it'll have something to get caught on. The brake cable. And then this is the umbilical. I usually leave it like that because it's actually excessively long. All right, so just about ready to go, and last thing to do is go ahead and get the camera set up, my monitor set up on the dashboard so I can monitor the transmission temperature, get the radio set up, and then do a light check and make sure everything is all good to go there, and then go ahead and do a safety walk around of the trailer before getting ready to move it. And I'll go ahead and show you the checklist we have. Okay, so obviously making sure that everything is all stowed away, make sure everything is all secure, make sure everything's ready to get moved, make sure that the fridge is buttoned down. We have a couple things in here to make sure that this is all buttoned in, so that way the eggs don't fly around. Everything else is in here is all good to go. I'll go ahead and move these, and that way they don't fly all over the place. Got the seat belt set for our table. Here's our checklist, so I'll go ahead and make these available as well. These are convenient little checklists. I have departure and arrival checklist that we created. I even laminated these. These are designed specifically for in resort camping, but anyways, it can also be modified for boondocking as well. And then, so part of this is also to walk around and make sure that everything's secured on the outside and lock up the doors and everything, and we're good to go.
Hey, if any of my videos have been helpful at all, please hit the subscribe button or hit the like button down below or share my videos out. Really appreciate it. Leave some comments below if you have any questions, and hope these are benefiting some people. Thanks.